Welcome back to the SimZone, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here for round 2 of the Rags to Riches at Spa Francorchamps. And well, We've got, again, over 30 teams competing for this second round. We're already a few minutes into qualifying. We will bring up the times in just a moment, so bear with me while we do that. But we had a tough round last time at Brands Hatch, very difficult circuit to overtake on, and now it's a bit different here. Spa, much longer, much more space and overtaking opportunities. So let's see what the drivers will be able to do here. Let's have a look at the times now for this session. And there we go, Malinovsky puts it into provisional pole there. But let's have a look at the times. Malinovsky with a 2:16.1 is an optimum track, but temperatures are fairly high here, so that's possibly what's causing maybe the driver's not able to get into the 2:15s just yet due to the temperatures. But we will see there's still time left in this qualifying session for drivers to improve. And speaking of temperatures, it's currently 32 degrees in my room, so wish me luck, guys. I'm definitely gonna need it. Anyways, we've got Demori currently sitting in P8 in this qualifying session for Red Kings Motorsports, 2/10 up as he comes through No Name now, but another couple sectors to go for this lap. But 2/10 will be looking to have him around the P5 to P6 mark, but still lots of time to be found here for Demori. We look down to the number 19 car, Sinkanen. I think I butchered that name, but P19 here, 4/10 up on this lap, but still 1.7 seconds off of that provisional pole time set by Malinovsky. And speaking of Malinovsky's, 3/10 up actually for this lap. And let's go on board with him for the rest of the lap here. You see they're using all the curb through some of these corners here to maximize his speed. No lift as we get onto the flat out section here, sector 3, leading up towards Blanchimont. So important to get your gear shifts right here and make sure you're utilizing all that speed that you can carry through. And completely flat once again with Blanchimont up towards the bus stop chicane, braking very late, leading on to the left of the track to try and brake even later and getting on power as early as possible, using all that exit once again. And what's it going to be for Malinovsky? It's going to be a 2:15.9, so the only driver getting into the 2:15 so far. Hubin crosses the line, P4 currently in the Lamborghini. We know the McLarens are very quick here at Spa, so no surprise that we're seeing them towards the stop. We got Filippi there for Alice Esports, currently in P2, just 3/10 off, with Barrier just coming out of the pits now for Yasheet Esports. They had a good showing last time out at Brands Hatch. Let's see, they could possibly take the fight here to Veloce in P1, but we're just gonna have to wait and see to the race. Qualifying is always very, very close, but race pace is a completely different thing here. Once you've got the higher fuel loads, the dynamics of the car just completely changes, and that's really where you see the best drivers who can put in the consistent times lap after lap. But for now, it is Huben P4. We've got Albash currently sitting in P5, Fisher in P6 for West Competition Racing. BMW didn't have the best showing last time out at Brands Hatch, and well, the BMW is not the best car at Spa either. However, P6 is a good place to be in this qualifying session considering the car they're in. So we'll see what they're able to do here for the remainder of this session. And doesn't look like many other drivers towards the top end of the field are up for an improvement just yet. We've got Bezulov currently P25, a whole second up here. He could be within the top 10 in this qualifying session if he can hook this lap together. And he's only just started. Let's see, let's go on board actually with Bezulov, see what exactly he can do on this lap. Actually there once again, using all of the curb, braking late into the corner, sort of a double apex here, trying to get the car hooked around, get the rotation done mid-corner, and then back on the power as early as possible, going through No Name, very patient on the throttle there. And now flat out down towards Pouron. Easy corner to get the rear out. It's a fast downhill corner. But no issues there for Bezulov in the Lamborghini. Still 1.2 seconds up now. This is definitely going to put him in the top 10. This lap really matters to him. There's only 3 minutes left in the qualifying session to go. If he messes this one up, he's possibly only even going to be able to get one more in. That's if he has enough fuel in the car as well. Lee saying good luck in your sweatbox. Yeah, I know, it's going to be absolutely awful. I mean, I've got... Yeah, it's pretty much a sauna in here. So, I'll be like an F1 driver, you know, losing about 2 kg worth of sweat during this race, although I'm only commentating. And here we go, Bezulov up towards the bus stop chicane, and in fact he's 2 seconds up. This could be pole position, and what is it going to be? He's going to cross the line, and looks like it might be pole here. And no, what's happened there? Oh, was it invalid? Looks like it may have actually been invalid. So not sure what happened there to Bezulov. Unfortunately, does not improve. Either that, or it was an error with our HUD, but it did show us he was up for an improvement. Malinovsky still on provisional pole, 2:15.950 here. And how many drivers have we got within a second of each other? That's about, let's count Thomas there in 16. So 16 drivers, 16 teams separated by just a second. That's not a lot considering how big this circuit is. But we've got Barrier improving here, 3/10 up. This is a good lap here from the Yassi Esports driver, 3/10 up. This could put him on pole. He's only got a couple more corners to go here. He does, I believe, have a Lamborghini in front of him, so I don't think there will be any air wash going through this fast left-hander. No, they're a bit too far up ahead, but he needs to get this spot on here, the braking zone into the bus stop chicane. Late on the brakes, he's going to try and push the car to the limit, 4/10 up. Perfect entry there from Barrier, and uses all of the track on the exit, still within track limits, and it is going to be provisional pole there for Barrier, 2:50.922, just 200ths, well, almost 300 separating the top two here. And well, this is what Veloce was scared of last time when we interviewed them. They were concerned about Yassit and how they could bring the challenge to them in this round. Of course, the McLarens will probably shoot off into the distance, but you never know. It's racing and anything can happen. Malinovsky, however, found some time into La Sauce turn 1, but seems to have lost a couple of tenths as we've reached the Camel Straight. He is, however, a 10th up on his best lap, so there still could be pole for him as well. We just have to wait and see. But no, Barrier's also a 10th up. Looks like he's lost it coming through Lecombe, and he's slightly wide there. No, still within track limits. It's going to be neck and neck between these two as they cross the line. Now the timer in that qualifying session is going to hit 0, so anyone else who crosses the line is going to have their qualifying session over with. And looks like that's one of the Lamborghinis pulling off to the side of the track, I believe. I'm not actually sure who that was. You can see already the checkered flag next to a few drivers' names. Means they have now finished with their qualifying session. But what is it going to be? We've got a number of drivers up for improvements. But it's the battle in qualifying between these two teams, these two drivers, Barrier and Malinovsky, Veloce and Yassi. What can they do? They're both a 10th up on this lap. Malinovsky still got a bit more of the track to go. He is actually just behind. So Barry's going to cross the line first out of these two. And Malinovsky now 2/10 up. That could be crucial to gaining pole position here at off ankle trumps for round 2, but Barry's going to come up towards the chicane. He's now 2/10 up. It's 3/10 up. Let's see if he can get a better exit this time than he did last time. Looks like it's flashing purple between the two of them, and Barry crosses the line to improve a 2:15.7, but Malinovsky exits to find a corner, and looks like he's going to put it back on provisional pole. There we go, a 2:15.725, and there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Malinovsky P1, Barry P2, and Livia P3. We'll be back in just a few moments for the start of the race. And make sure to stick with us. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ignore the in-game interviews going on in the background. But there we have it. Malinovsky on of for Veloce, Yasit in P2, and Olivia for Virtual Drivers by TX3 in P3. We will get a quick grid walk in just a moment, but let's bring up the pit stops, which we'll refresh you guys with. And now the drivers. It is a team race. Each team has 2 drivers within it, and they have to swap during the pit window. Now, the drivers have got, or the teams have got a 10-minute pit window in the race, and that opens 40 minutes into the race, so about halfway. And of course, they have to change tyres as well. So we'll see what the drivers can do in terms of strategy. Last time we had some drivers pitting early. Of course, it was Brown's Hatch and narrow track, and pitting early in that track did work well for quite a few drivers to go for the undercut. But here it could be different. It could be very different here. And of course, these teams will have their race engineers, their spotters with them, telling them what to do and what strategies to go for as well. And good to see Astro Racing Team in the comments, Scott as well. Ben and Jamie too. Here we go. We are about to get going for the full formation lap here for Spa, and we're going to get a quick grid walk now as we get the drivers moving off the grid. So here we go. Starting on the front row in P1, it is Malinovsky for Veloce, Barrier in P2 for Yassid, Olivier in P3, Lomi in P4, Posto in P5, Huben in P6 for UOL, Vashelli in P7, Morant in P8, Tillich in P9, Pachenko in P10, Albash in P11, Orko in P12, Thomas in P13. We had a better qualifying last time out, but further down the order this time. Schubeck in P14, Demori in P15, Santoro P16, running in quite high gear there. Makovsky in P17, Palatella in P18, Polovchuk in P19, Koroshav in P20, Sinkanen in P21, Bazulov in P22, Cosford there for Brabham Esports in P23, Borodai for SimStation P24, Kit in P25, Milani in P26, wasn't able to race last round, but we've got Staff in P27, Scaptura in P28, Yen in P29, Monroe in P30, I think one of the best liveries on the grid. Also another nice livery there from Van Horn and Astro Racing Team, and Ivanyuk to round off the field. That was quite a mouthful, but we are on the formation lap now, and well, this track very, very long, 7 kilometers in length or 4.3 miles, whichever you prefer. 19 turns here at Spa, so highway is going to be possibly an issue with those temperatures, track and ambient, especially for, I think probably for those Lamborghinis. We saw them getting the rear out quite a lot in the middle of the race at Brands Hatch. Well, that is quite a twisty circuit and doesn't have as many high-speed corners as Spa does, so tyre is going to be something that the teams are going to have to look out for. However, it may not be an issue if they can keep it till the pit window, but we just have to wait and see here. And some more facts about Spa, if you'd like to know. Well, you have to listen to them anyways if you're watching. There's no skipping this. Well, this is not a joke. Bars, as in where you go to a well-being centre and treat yourself. Spas get their name from the circuit, well, the town Spa. That's actually because the village of Spa has been popular due to the supposed healing properties of the water. Of course, there is a river that runs through, well, underneath Eau Rouge. So, yeah, apparently, supposedly it has healing properties, and that's why every wellbeing centre is now known as a spa, thanks to this town. So, some interesting facts here about this circuit and the town surrounding it. But here we go, we are going to go double file very, very shortly. We do start on halfway down the exit of turn 1 is where the formation lap does end and the race starts, but the finish line is on the exit of the final corner, the bus stop chicane. So it is different. Start finish lines are different for the drivers here on track, and fuel is also something to worry about here. It's a very, very long pit lane. If you miscalculate fuel and you have to make an extra stop, it's going to drop some drivers right down the order. Here we go, lining up double file now. It is Malinovsky on pole, Barrier in P2. On the front row, Olivier P3 and Lomi in P4. Top 4, all McLarens, no surprise. But Fisher in the BMW for West Competition Racing. Could he keep up and bring the challenge to the McLarens, which are known as being the fastest at Spa. Used to be able to do 213s, 214s even before the nerf. I think they still might be able to do that, but of course, cold conditions, you need colder conditions than what we have now. But we're about to go green very shortly. Who's going to lead going into our Rouge and Radion? Acts with me every evening, every Saturday evening, yes. And here we go, Malinowski off to a good start. Barry off to a very good start as well. Eats alongside, but he may have to back out. No, sticks the nose there, and they are still side by side. Has to cut slightly the top of Radion, but they are side by side down the Camel Straight, heading down towards their comp, leaving just enough room for each other. Is this going to be Barry's best chance to get into the lead of the race? It's going to be on the outside, forcing Malinowski to take the slower part of the circuit, but no, Malinowski very late on the brakes and holds on there into P1, and through Lecombe he goes, holding on to the race leader. Barrier putting on a good fight very early on, and looks like that's Olivier with a mistake there on the exit of Lecombe, but manages to defend, and oh no, that's Fisher dropping down the order. Looked like a huge incident there. His car almost on its roof. What on earth happened there to Fisher? He's got it going once again, but that looks to be some nasty damage on the front of that BMW. But apart from that, we've got another car off in the background. Who, no name, it's Borodai, who looks like he's lost the car there. Maybe a bit of contact as well. But back to the race leader, Malinowski still fending off Barrett. These two have pulled away slightly from the rest of the field. About a second there to Olivier, who's had to defend from Huben just behind. And Lomi not with the best start either, dropping down to P5, losing a position to Huben. So it's now a Lamborghini in between the McLarens. They're pretty much a McLaren sandwich. 3 McLarens in front, 3 McLarens behind. Huben pretty much the odd one out at the moment. But when you look at the rest of the field, it is like a Super Trofeo Cup. You've got Lamborghinis absolutely everywhere. Huben, they're fending off very well, looking to try and get past Olivia as soon as possible because he's got a big train behind him. Look at that train of cars there going through the bus stop chicane. Luckily, not many of them, well, none of them making contact, which is good, but it looks like in the background, no, Corsa seems to be okay. Looks like Dove has moved up into P24, 6 positions gained so far, and we've got some serious defending going on in the background. That's Staffin fending off. I believe that is Patrick Den, and what was that with one of the McLarens? I believe that may have been Sean Tempest who lost the rear going through the source. It doesn't look like there was any contact, no damage on the car, but we go back to the race leader there, Malinowski, who is pulling away from Barrier now. And the gap between these two, 6/10. Can he just have that edge over Barrier to extend that gap, maybe by even a 10th or 2 a lap? Over a race distance, that's going to be super important. At the moment, it's still anyone's game very early on into the race. It looks like we've had a change of position. Demori has just made a move on Miato there, just behind in P10. So Miato dropping down into 10th. One of the drivers for Raton Racing Esports by Q-Lash. Q-Lash, a very big team, as we know, competing in multiple sims, multiple platforms as well. It looks like Thomas just behind here, so a bit of an RKM sandwich between Thomas, Miato and Demori, and looking behind we've got Porco who's fending off Koroshavin and Porco. I believe these two drivers, or these two teams, were quite close at Brands Hatch as well. We're seeing something similar to what we saw last time. We've got Makovsky very close behind as well, and Vozdetsky as well, who was in the mix previously. On the Jean Alessi teams, we've got Alcamo just behind as well. But back to the race leader once again. The gap is still very close. 5/10 between the two, fluctuating between about 5/10 to 7/10, and that hasn't really changed too much. Barrier actually that last lap 2/10 quicker than Malinowski, so he is catching back up, and that gap is coming down all of a sudden. And Malinowski might need to think about defending very shortly, but I think for these two, they're going to try and pull away from the rest of the field before they start scrapping too hard. As soon as they start battling, we know that the rest of the field is going to catch up, and Hooven on the back of Olivia still has been bumper to bumper, but has not found a way past. They've pulled away from Lomi. Surprisingly, just doesn't seem to have the race pace. Maybe the race feel not suiting his driving style or the setup even. And he seems to be losing a bit of time to the drivers ahead. A 2:17.6 that last time round, whereas Hooven and Olivia 2:17.0 and 2:17.1. So something's definitely going on there with Lomi. Let's hope they're not in a slower engine map, or who knows. It's down to the driver, and we'll see if he can possibly close that gap back up shortly. But let's look down to P20. DeMarchi is now in the car for Carloni Racing. I believe it was Melili in the car for qualifying, but they have switched now. I've got a few more comments coming in. Lee saying to Cody, he'll do the jokes. And looking at Tempest, after his mishap into La Source turn 1, he's found his feet again. And he's definitely moving back up the field. Of course, he did start in P8, so he's well out of position at the moment. He's lost 13 places so far. But of course, he's got to try and make as many positions back as soon as possible before he hands the car over to his teammate. It's going to be extremely extremely important, and he's going to have to be quite aggressive to get these positions done. Doesn't really matter if he loses too much time. He needs that crack position before he hands the car over to his teammate. He's going to go for a move down the inside there into the bus stop chicane. Not much that DeMarchi can do, and he sort of lets it happen there. He knows that Tempest is well out of position and is at the moment much faster on the circuit. 2:18.0 while battling in traffic there from Tempest, and from DeMarchi it was a 2:19.9, so almost 2 seconds a lap quicker. But back to the top two, Malinowski and Barrier, P1 and P2. Still only separated by 0.3 of a second. That slipstream's really going to be helping Barrier here to stick to Malinowski. This is going to be a brilliant battle for the lead. Now, Veloce did... Oh, a big slide there from Barrier. That's cost him quite a bit of time, and possibly a bit of tyre wear as well. Those rears are not going to be happy after that slight slide. We know how sensitive these tyres are. If they get out of the window, out of that temperature window, it can be quite devastating. You have to nurse the tyres after that. Of course, it's not real life, it is a sim, but it still applies. But yeah, we saw last time out Brands Hatch where Veloce pretty much pulled away seconds a lap to P2, and they ran away with the race win. Of course, Boothby was in the car first, unable to attend this round, so it is Malinowski in the car first this time. And of course the teammate did forget their name, but we'll bring them up in just a moment. Yeah, different lineup for Veloce this time around. Barrett definitely has the pace here to stick with Malinowski and even get past. He's now got the fastest lap of the race at 2:16.655. Malinowski's fastest was a 2:16.765, so about a tenth in terms of best laps separating these two drivers. But back down to P8 then. Looks like Albash has got a train of cars behind him. Let's go on the rear wing camera. Look at this battle we've got going on. Albash followed by Demori, Miato, Thomas, Porco, Koroshavin, Makonski, and I believe that is it in this battle. That's P8 all the way down to P14. So many cars involved in this battle. You can see the McLaren just pulling away ever so slightly out of the source. And coming up towards Radion as well, it's just got so much more speed through there. The slipstream is obviously going to help Demori here coming down the Kemmel Straight, although I don't think it's going to do too much. The gap's still 5/10 between the two. I think it may possibly be the same by the time they reach the braking zone, and yeah, it is pretty much the same, that gap. It just goes to show how fast and how powerful these McLarens are at this circuit. The BOP for them is brilliant. And now looking at the gap between the top two, it has opened up to just over a second, so that's not what Barrier would have wanted at all. Maybe that slight slide on the previous lap has really cost him so much time and performance in the early stages of this race. Let's look further down what's going on at the back of the field. We've got Borodai now in P31. Looks like he may be... Oh, they have actually pitted, and likewise have West Competition Racing. Fisher has repaired the damage on his car. That's unfortunate. Such a long pit lane at Spa, they're going to have to pit once again to serve their mandatory stop. It looks like there's been a change of positions. Bezulov has just got past Ivanyuk, I believe, and now he's looking to get past Van Horn as well. Van Horn for Assetto Racing Team started P31. They've gained 5 positions so far, so up to P26 just by keeping their nose clean. You can see the Merc washing wide ever so slightly. Merc still a very, very good car, but of course with the BOP here, those McLarens are just something else, and the Lamborghinis as well. Looks like Bazulov is going to get past even before they reach the corner. Van Horn tried to hang it around the outside, bit of contact between the two. I think Van Horn possibly should have backed out of that one if Bazulov had the corner, but luckily it didn't look like they picked up much or any damage from that incident. That could have been so much worse. And looking behind, Ivanyuk and Den are in this battle. Den unfortunately doesn't have a teammate for this round, so will pick up a automatic post-race penalty for this round. But back to P10 we go. Miyato right in the back of Demori. They've been neck and neck for quite a while. Demori going defensive, taking the inside line, coming up towards Lecombs. A bit of contact between the two. That looks like Miyato squeezing the Lamborghini of Demori on the inside, and looked like it was their fault, but contact between these two, and oh my god, how did Miyato save that? Looks like Porco now trying to go for a move. Down the inside he goes, and there has been contact. Thomas dropping down the order now. Looks like they may have ended up in the barriers, but that was inevitable really, with how close they were and how aggressive they were all driving in that. I think that could have been down to a bit of a racing incident there. I assume the stewards will take a look at the end of the race, but Thomas losing a few positions there now, having to climb back up. He's got Palatello in front of him, but let's look further down once again. Demarchi P21 here has got Sculptura and Seminara very, very close behind. Back towards the race leader we go. Now we do have live timing for this race as well. If you wish to view the live timing, the pit wall link is pinned in the comments now. And looking at P4 Huben on the back of Olivia. They've been neck and neck since the start, but Huben's just not been able to find a way past. In terms of their last lap, they're only Huben is only 0.02 of a second slower than Olivia, so very, very even in pace, and looks like they are coming up towards... Actually, no, that is Barrier and Malinovsky just up ahead, so they're only 2 seconds off the top two. So anything happening to these top two, any mistakes or issues they encounter, it's going to drop them down a few positions. So it's definitely not over yet for P3 and 4, Olivia and Huben. Lee saying he's hot. If you think you're hot, I mean, it's 32.5 degrees in my room now. And, I mean, the temperature outside is getting cooler. In my room, it's getting warmer. I'm going to be roasting by the... I'm already roasting, actually. Oven's been preheated. I'm now cooking. We've got 1 hour, 15 minutes till the chicken is done. No, I'm joking, but still. I'm absolutely sweating buckets. Can't imagine these drivers, though. They're probably really, really warm as well. Of course, I've got to keep the door shut now. When commentating, I think that makes it 10 times worse. Otherwise, it probably would have been about 10 degrees cooler in here, but oh well, gotta do what you gotta do. But Ruben's still on the back of Olivia. Let's go on board here on the number 4 Lamborghini. Got that slipstream coming up towards Blanchimont. Is it going to be enough though heading up towards the bus stop chicane? I don't think it is. Is he going to try and sell him the dummy? No, it looks like he's a bit too far back to do that either. So just sticks to his racing line. Gets close on the braking, but could just be the concertina effect. And it looks like it might just be, you can see the McLaren on the exit of the corner just pulling away. And Ruben once again back to that 4/10 gap to Olivier, but the pressure is on. However, Olivier in the virtual drivers team under, well, not even feeling the pressure, even though they are under quite a lot of that Lamborghini glued to their rear bumper. Let's have a look now. P15 looks like Palatella and the Alcamo having a bit of a battle here. We've got 4 cars in this battle. I believe that's Tempest and Thomas now, who's just slingshotted past. That's Alcamo and the Jean Alessi esports team car, and looks like he's lost the position just as they enter Rouge up through Avion now. And look at that, Tempest in the McLaren's got a wonderful slingshot there. He's going to have overspeed coming down the Kemmel straight. We've got 2 battles going on here. Let's get on our helicam to view both of these at once, and side by side they go. Can Thomas be later on the brakes and hang it around the outside? Looks like he will be, and a great move there by Thomas, and Tempest as well has got the move done on the Alcamo. So up a position they both go. Thomas into P15 now, and Tempest up into P17. And this is where we saw the incident happen last time, that these 4 drivers, even though they are so close, looks like they've been able to keep it quite clean. Palatella though under a lot of pressure now. Tempest once again still out of position. I think he won't really have too much trouble getting past Palatella. But back to the race leader he goes. Opened up a 2-second gap, has Malinowski to barrier now. Lapping in the 216s, still the only driver to be lapping in the 216s. Everyone else in the 217s, and in fact barrier losing time to Olivia now, so those tyres must be cooked. And Malinowski probably looking after the tyres a bit more in that first stint. Well, it still is the first stint, but in the first 20 minutes of the race, or 18 minutes of the race if you like to call it, he's probably looking after those tyres a bit more, nursing them so that he can push towards the end of his stint and just pull that gap when he really needs to, like he has done now in fact. And it's still going to be a 216 from Malinowski. Barry's going to cross the line at 217.0, so a bit closer this time around, and Olivier once again a 217.0, and there we go. Now the top 4 much closer. Huben a 216.9, so actually almost matching Malinowski's pace here so far, and Huben's got the pace to be at the front. Just needs to find a way past Olivier here. Question is it possible? Well, of course it's possible, but where can he get it done? And it looks like Palatella's just lost a position to Tempest. No, they are battling here, exchanging positions. Tempest is still behind, actually. The Alcamo is not letting him go either. And it looks like now that's Cosford who's catching up, and also Sinkinen in P20 who's not far behind. So they could be joining in the action very shortly. But let's go down to P22. Seminara is side by side here with Demarchi. Bit of door open between the two as they head down the Kemmel Straight up towards Lecom. And it looks like Seminara is going to try around the outside. He's not got enough room there to do that. And looks like Demarchi is going to be able to hold it there. Great defending there from Demarchi, but he's going to have to go on the defense once again. up towards Brussels. Or through Brussels they go now, up towards No Name. And he has been able to hold on, but that's backed up the rest of the drivers behind them. Seminara P22 and Scatura P33. And in fact, Staffin now P24. This is a four-car battle we've got in the midfield. It looks like Borodai is now into the pits. What's happened to them? Looks like it may have been damaged. Have they retired the car? I'm not sure. Malinovsky once again pulling away from barrier 216.7 there from him, and barrier 216.9, so about 2/10 or 1.5 actually to be precise, quicker than barrier and P2. So Veloce looking very, very good here at the start of this race, but it's still so early on. We've got another hour and 10 minutes to go of this race. So anything can happen. The pit window due to open shortly. And looks like Tempest in P16 now has actually just got past Palatella. They're side by side. No, now slotting into single file. Tempest has got the move done before they head through Rouge. And oh my god, Palatella's nearly lost the car there. How on earth did he save that? Brilliant catch there. You have to have quick reaction times for that, but he's compromised his run down the Camel Straight, and that looks like Alcamo is now going to pull towards the outside. Is he going to be alongside enough? Late to the brakes he goes. It looks like he's going to get that one done quite easily, and Palatella tried to fight back, but nothing he can do just yet. Cosford and Sikkonen are now well involved into this battle. Let's go on board here with Cosford. Through Brussels, two drivers in front going slightly wide. Cosford with a bit of oversteer there. Looks like possibly understeer induced oversteer, which is quite common in GT cars. And well, it comes down to not trail braking enough into the corner, getting the rotation done at the minimum speed. Well, the minimum speed of the corner, so the slowest part of the corner is where you get most of the rotation done. And that seems to be what the issue is. Brussels is a notorious corner for understeer, induced oversteer, but he's got the slipstream here, pulls to the outside, going side by side through Blanchemont. It's going to be so difficult, but it looks like it's slotting back into single file, and Tikkanen is going to look for a move here. He's got a good slingshot. He's going to be on the outside though. Cosford goes defensive, leaving just enough room on the outside for Tikkanen, but is he going to have a nose down the inside for the second part of the bus stop? He's not, and there we go. He's compromised his exit as a result, but it was a brilliant try there. And look in the background, we've got another three-guard battle. Demarchi, Scatura and Staffin still batting for position, and it looks like that is, I believe that's Dove just in the background, who has got Zunov not far off, and Palatella has looks like he's lost it into turn one. Has there been contact? I don't think there was any contact actually. He may have just lost it on his own. Now we don't have our second screen up, because if we did, I'd be absolutely, I mean, I'm already roasting, but I'd be even worse than I am now. I think my room would probably go up to about 36 degrees. Yeah, that's the main reason. Next week looks a bit better though, in terms of temperature, so we'll go back to running our split screen cameras. Then back to the race leader, Malinowski. Once again, still 2.5 seconds, or 2.3 seconds even, between P1 and P2, so not pulling away too much. That last lap barrier was about half a tenth quicker than Malinowski. Although it's not much, as long as he can stay within that gap, that 2 second mark to Malinowski, think he should be okay. There's easily time that can be made and lost in the pit stops. And, well, for Yassi, they've got Jardier in the car next, so we'll see what he can do. And there's definitely a chance that they could overtake Veloce in the pits. We just have to wait and see. I believe we will have the pits opening in about 15 minutes, if I'm correct. Yeah, it should be about 15 minutes. That's where we see most of the drivers pitting. It is only a 10-minute pit window, so the drivers have to be very, very quick on pitting, especially when lap times here are in excess of 2 minutes. It's very risky to leave it to the last second. Looking back down to P18, Cosford and Sinkinen, still as it were between these two. Looks like Cosford focusing on entry speed there through La Source, but compromising his exit ever so slightly. Sinkinen's got a better exit compared to Cosford there, and he's got the slipstream, so that helps massively as they go down towards Rouge, up towards Rabion now. Bit of airwash maybe. I don't think so. I think he's still within the slipstream, so not really any dirty air. And now he's going to be down the Camel Straight, looking towards the inside this time. Cosford chooses the outside, and it's Lamborghini versus Lamborghini. It's down to setup here, and wow, how much wing they're running, and who has got the better speed on the Camel Straight. Looks like Sinkin is going to try it around the outside, and he's got the job done. It's not over yet though. Cosford still side by side. There's brilliant driving between the two, and somehow he's been able to hold on. Brilliant defending there from Cosford, and so much respect between these two drivers. That's the racing we love to see here. But the last time around, Sikkinen was about a tenth and a half quicker than Cosford. So he is quicker. He can get past. He just needs to try and find a place where he can. Was that a bit of a slide there through Prawn from Sikkinen? I think it may have been. He had a brilliant overtaking opportunity there. Cosford just knows exactly where to place the car to avoid getting overtaken. Now looking down to P25, Bazulov is on the back of Dove. Let's get a wing camera here on the AMG from United Sim Team. Lisa has been struggling with practice because of the heat. Yeah, I mean, it's been, well, do you remember heat on track? I believe for console, Valencia is very, very warm. That's going to be all down to tyre management. But yeah, no, it has been quite warm as well in the UK. We've got a bit of a heat wave. But it goes back to raining next week, so it should be okay. But Dove now having to defend on Bazulov. Not going to go for a defensive approach into turn one this time around. Bazulov actually carrying some damage on that Lamborghini. But on the exit here, looks like he's going to be quite close. Albash only 3/10 of P8. Yeah, Dove making sure that Bazulov doesn't get the slipstream. And now she may have to go defensive though. I'm not sure. No, it looks like she can stick to the racing line here. And Bazulov is not going to be able to get anything done, so that damage probably limiting his cornering ability and possibly even straight line speed. But later on the brakes there, using all the curb on the inside and on the second part of the con, you get the car hooked around onto the curb. And a good exit for the both of them actually. But quickly, let's go back to Albash P9. Who's in the thick of it, and we've still got a massive train of cars going on. So what is this? We've got well, that's, oh my goodness, this is a lot of cars. It actually starts up in P5, Pachenko in P5 fending off Olivia, but actually Olivia's dropped down the order. Ruben's now up into P3, Olivia's down into P6. Made a massive mistake somewhere, and I don't think there's been any contact between Ruben and Olivia, at least from our incident page where we can see any contacts that happens with cars, but it looks like Olivia's going to go for a move down the inside of Pachenko, and he's going to get that one done, although Pachenko, yeah, sensibly backs out of that. Very respectful driving and sensible thinking on Pachenko. That would have ended up in contact otherwise, but they've hindered their exit speed, and that's going to allow Tillich in the Iron Lynx Lamborghini to close in. Tillich actually racing for SMP Racing Esports. I believe they don't have their team name in there, so that's why it shows up as Iron Lynx, and of course they are using a default livery here. Well, ladies and gents, remember, hit the like button, sub as well if you're enjoying the action out on track. What else have we got? So it starts up with P5, Olivia Pachenko P6, Tillich P7, Miyato in P8, Albash in P9, who's a bit further off, but still definitely within this battle, Demori in P10, and Porco in P11. Then we've got another battle between Koroshev and Makovsky in P12 and 13. That's a separate battle that they've got going on in their own, but quickly back down to this battle. It looks like Sikkonen has finally got it done in probably the best overtaking spot on the circuit, the heavy braking zone after the end of the Kemmel Straight into Lecombe. And what's happened to Staffin? He's dropping down the order. Looks like, oh, nothing has really happened. This is a three-car battle, bit of contact between the two there. Staffin tried to go for a switchback. Looks like it was an okay move, but just a bit of contact between the two, bit of door rubbing there. Nothing really that was too bad. But he's having to defend from Dimarchi, and he is elbows out between all these drivers, and I believe that is a back marker behind them. If not a back marker, yeah, I believe it is a back marker behind them, so they aren't batting for position. It is just these three cars. We're almost three abreast going into Brussels. Let's quickly go back to the race leader. Marinovsky 2.3 seconds ahead. Looks to be a little bit more than that now as they head down towards Eau Rouge, but no, still saying 2.3 seconds. That last time a 2:16.8 for Marinovsky, and Barrett is a 2:17.0. Huben in P3 is now going to try and put in the laps he needs to catch up to the top two, but it's not going to be easy. That last time round is 4 tenths slower than Barry and 6 tenths slower than Marinovsky. So all that battling that Huben has done with Olivier is now down in P5. Has probably worn his tyres, and the pit window about to open in about 7 minutes. So they'll be wanting to pit maybe as soon as possible, really. They just have to time it correctly so they don't come out in traffic, which could be quite an issue here with teams on different strategies. But still, back to this huge battle here. And well, it's sort of mid-pack, but more towards the top end of the field, the top 10. Still all battling, and this is a massive train of cars now. Well, we've seen this since the start. They're going to have to get a helicam view. Don't want to go on board with anyone just yet. Look at this. This is some brilliant racing throughout the field. And Cody's saying it's hot in his attic. Yeah, heat rises, doesn't it? So, of course, I'm not surprised it's going to be hot in your attic. And it's still 32 degrees. It's not 32 and a half anymore here. It's gone down by half a degree. I don't feel it at all. If anything, it feels hotter than that, but I'm still surviving. Weight update, I've lost 2 kg. No, I'm joking. But back to the racing. Demori E10. He has got Albash behind, actually no, in front of him, sorry, and Porco behind him. Albash has lost a bit of time to Miyato, possibly having to defend against Demori now. Let's go on board here with Demori and the Red Kings Motorsport car. They've got 3 teams, I believe, signed up to this event. It's using all the curb on the inside there. Through the bus stop chicane, it is quite difficult. If you turn in too early, there's risk of the rear end coming out just due to how The corner is cambered, but looks like we're side by side, just up ahead between Tillich and Miato as they go through last bit of Ochi between the two. Just very, very close racing here. And Demori could possibly get quite a good slingshot through Borussia, you can see. Just, wow, how much lack of visibility there is. I mean, it would be a lot more different in real life. In fact, you can't see as much as you do in the sim in real life. If anyone stopped there at the top of Eau Rouge, it is game over. Of course, once again, like I mentioned before, the teams have their spotters, their race engineers to help them in the aid of yellow flags, which actually haven't been many of. Still a whole hour left of racing to go. Look how close he's getting glued to the rear bumper here of Albash. But Albash carrying a lot more speed on entry through No Name compared to Demori. Through Paul and they go now. Looks like Demori's struggling to get the rotation, the mid-corner rotation. Needs to get early on the power. And as a result, the three ahead have inched away slightly, but not through. Turns 13, 14 and 15. Coming through Stavolo now. Looks like Demori once again a bit late on the power, maybe in the wrong gear even. The slipstream is definitely going to help him all the way down towards the bus stop chicane. The top two now still separated by 2 seconds. Has actually come down slightly. Looks like Barriers now putting in, well, that last time around it was 200ths of a second quicker. The lap before it was actually a 10th quicker than Malinowski. So he's now starting to reel in the race leader ever so slightly. But look how bunched up these five are. In the bus stop chicane, I'm surprised how they haven't made any contact yet. Brilliant driving from all of them. And let's go on board here with Tillich very quickly. Look how close they are. You can't even see the Lamborghini's splitter or bumper from behind. That's how close he was. Dr. Plate saying, can set one for some zoom beauty? Yeah, we can do that in just a moment. Let's do it now. As they are side by side. Come on, switch. There we go. Side by side, heading up towards the braking zone, coming up towards Lecom. Who is it going to be? Who's going to be the victor out of this battle? It's still side by side. Bit of door rubbing between the two once again. And looks like Tillich isn't able to get that done. Miato stays ahead. And Miato into P7, Tillich into P8, Albash P9 there, just behind, eyeing up a move, Demori P10, just behind, Porco P11, and look who's catching up now, Koroshavin and even Makovsky. Those two were in a battle of their own, but with this group, exchanging positions lap after lap, they're slowing each other down, currently lapping in the 218s, the two drivers behind them, Koroshavin 217s. So about half a second a lap quicker than this group just up ahead. So this lap or the next, and they'll be right there. Ladies and gents, for those that are watching, give us your predictions in the comments. Do you think Malinowski and Veloce will be able to hold on to P1 after the driver swap, or will Yassi in P2 be able to get the jump in the pit stops? Let us know out of the two who you think are going to win the race, or even throw a wild card in. Huben there in P3, 7 seconds back, could still win it if those two continue to battle after the pit stops. And there we go, there's the contact we were talking about. And in fact, we've got a car spun round. It's Albash spun round, it is. And oh god, he's gonna have to get that facing the right way. He has got it now, but he's lost another position there to Tempest. And wow, down into P14 he goes. I think that was inevitable there with how close they were. Well, you've always got to leave a bit of room into that slow corners. Here we go, we've got the pit window opening in about 30 seconds now. Back to the race lead and go very quickly. Malinowski now 1.8, 1.7 seconds to barrier. Looks like he's really closing in on this lap, especially because last lap Malinowski was quicker. Looks like Barry's found some pace here. And maybe a slight error from Malinowski this lap. Maybe getting tired, and there we go. Pit window is now open for about 10 minutes. These two possibly will stay out for as long as possible. They're in clean air. They don't want to be stuck in traffic. It's going to be a stay out moment for these two teams. And down to P19, looks like Cosford now having to fend off Palatella behind. Palatella in the SPQR racing team has raced with us before, actually, in different championships. Quite a few of these drivers have, actually, but lots of new drivers as well. Right, see what can Palatella do. Looks like Staffin has just gained a position on Scaptura. These two have been very, very close. In fact, Demarchi down in P23 now as well has been extremely close. And once again, that is a back marker behind. Is it one of the... Is it VS Racing? It looks like one of the teams that are powered by Vallis Esports. Looks like it's... Oh, it is Vallis Esports, actually, down in P30. And that was one of the two teams that made a pit stop on the first lap, I believe due to damage. But we have got a few teams now into the pits. The top two still staying out as expected. Not too much going on between them, but Malinowski just managing that gap, although it's coming down ever so slightly. He could be worrying about that now. Maybe the tyres starting to drop off. And although we did think Malinowski managed the tyres better at the start of the race, it could well be the opposite. We have no way of telling until we interview the drivers afterwards. But down to P10, Tempest, Albash and Thomas not far behind. Tempest is good back. So many positions after his mishap into turn 1. He's now up into P10, started P8, dropped down loads of positions early on in the race. But of course we've still got the pit stop to go. Well, let's see if we can get on board with Albash. And Albash, of course, had a bit of an incident in the Boston chicane a few laps ago. There doesn't seem to be too much damage on that McLaren either. May have just been a small tap from the rear, which of course would have caused the car to become unsettled. But let's go on board. Watch, as soon as I go on board now, they're going to dive into the pits. Yep, expected. But actually, this is quite good. Let's see how they get their pit stop done, where they're going to brake for the pit entry nice and early there. Definitely do not want to get a stop and go penalty or drive through penalty for speeding the pit lane. I believe it's a stop and go. Spa's pit lane's so long. And you can see they've not even reached their pit box yet. Their pit box is on the other side of the pit lane. And this is why Spa's able to hold so many cars. Spa 24 hours. I believe is it 70 cars? Something similar to that. But there's so many pit boxes and garages here at this beautiful track. You can see they're still going, and there we go. Albash has now stopped. There's no really any way of us telling if he's stopped correctly, but it looks to be a bit angled. Maybe they've had to move him. I'm not sure, but back to the race leader we go. It's Malinovsky, barrier just behind. He's actually having to get past some traffic now, so that gap, is it still 2 seconds? Is it still 1.8, or has it gone back up to 2? Looks like it may have gone back up to 2 now. He's lost a couple tenths there, navigating past some traffic. But are any of these top two going to pit? Possibly not. Oh, Malinovsky now into the pits, and actually barrier following him through. So copying the strategy there from Malinovsky, stopping nice and early. But let's see, we've got Koroshavin, Tempest out of the pits now. Albash still right behind him, so not really any time lost or gained for either driver there. We did have the number 30 car, Korolski in... Oh, what's happened there? Korolski in the number 13 car, just ahead of Baikov. The Baikov now in the car for the S&P Racing Esports team. Now look at that, all the drivers deciding to pit now. This is the time to pit. They do not want to delay it any longer. Huben staying out on track. He's going to have to pit this lap. And just to, yeah, they have to pit this lap. It's going to be so risky if they go for another. Of course, once again, let us know in the comments who you think is going to be the victor of this race, or what your podium, or who you have on your cards for the podium. Ruben, is he going to go into the pits now? He surely has to, right? There we go, into the pits he goes. And where is Yassit? Yassit, Honzik now in the car for Yassit. Walshingham now, Walsingham actually, now in the car for Veloce. So let's see what these drivers can do. I don't believe I've seen Walsingham race before. So quite unfamiliar name to me. I believe he has raced with Yassit before, but I may be wrong. But still, the gap about 2 seconds from Yassit to Veloce. So not really, once again, not really any time lost or gained either driver in the pits. And well, with these drivers, these teams, they would have mastered these pit stops. And they'll be doing them to absolute perfection almost every time. Down to P14 now, we've got Morant. There we go, Huben still in the pits then. Of course, will be passed by Walsingham and Honzik now. But it is, yeah, Walsingham P1, Honzik P2. He's actually closed the gap slightly. It was 2.3, no, it's still 2.3 seconds. Ignore that. Still 2.3 seconds. Den, of course, is by himself, so will serve his pit stop and will then get a post-race penalty automatically. Korolski, and I believe that is Bykov just up ahead, very, very close here. Korolski in a bit of a sandwich here. He's got Diddley Bus just behind. I really hope I pronounced that name right. Another Ballas Esport team here in P11. I believe they have 2 or 3 teams signed up too. Back to P8, Warner, Chris Warner for Pit Lane Esports, right behind Faulkner. The highest running Ferrari at the moment in P8. The next Ferrari, D'Angelo down in P19. I believe that's the SPQR racing team. On board Warner now. What can he do? He's eyeing up a move here, up towards the bust of chicane that slots back onto the racing line. And just playing the patient game here. There's still 37 minutes in the race left to go. Plenty of time. So it's just going to be the waiting game here. The next car up ahead, 7 seconds up the road. So for now, I don't think Pit Lane Esports are going to be thinking about P6. They're focusing on the car up ahead, P7. And nevertheless, that's going to be a good result. In fact, where did they actually start? Yeah, Pit Lane Esports started P17. So they're now in P8, 9 positions. They've gained this race. It's been a brilliant race for them so far. Look at the slipstream here from the Ferrari. He's going to pull towards the inside, coming up towards the com. Is he going to have enough of an overlap? Looks like he will, but that is... Oh, he could actually get this done here, using all of the track to maximize his speed. And he's got it done. Brilliant move there from Warner. And now he's going to go on the defensive line to just cover that off for the next corner. And there we go. He's got that position secured. That is brilliant racecraft from Warner. And he planned that one out perfectly. Up into P7 he goes, and now he can possibly focus on Verona in P6. He's actually in a battle of his own with Vercelli. So these two could be losing some time to Warner and Faulkner just behind them. We'll have to wait and see. But back to the top two, Walsingham and Honzik. Still 2.3 seconds separating the two. Walsingham that last lap of 2:17.2. For Honzik it was 2:17.2 as well. But what is it going to be on this lap? Looks like Walsingham's pulling away this lap. 2:16.8. And for Honzik it's a 2:17.1. So about 3/10 there that Walsingham has pulled away. And this could be Veloce's win here. Obviously it's still very early to call that, but if they continue lapping as they are, or even quicker when the fuel load gets lighter, they're going to be pulling away from Honzik and Yassi. But you never know what can happen. Yassi have got some incredible drivers too, and it's still early days. They've only done a couple laps after exiting the pits. There's still plenty of time left in the race for moves and time to be gained back down to P10. Like we're saying, oh, we love a bit of spark chaos, don't we? McLarens have NOS, yeah, they are way too fast. Yeah, this is going to be one of their stronger tracks, but I think the last 2 or 3 tracks in the calendar is not so great for the McLarens. So for them, they're going to have to maximise as much points as they get in this round here at Spa. Obviously, we've got Bathurst next, which is still a decent track for the McLaren. But I think the last 2 rounds is where the McLarens aren't going to be as quick as they are here, or on other tracks at least. Let me saying it's Chris and not Jan Itor tonight. Yes, it is. It is actually fighting now in P14. He changed his name back. And looks like he's actually in a battle. He's lost a position there to Salem, who's now in the car for I'm not actually sure what team it was again, but he is now in the car. It looks like he's now pulling away from Vining as well. What other battles have we got going on throughout the field? Verona and Vercelli still. Probably Vercelli or Vercelli. I believe it is an Italian name. Yes, it is. So apologies for that. But these two quite even on pace. In fact, Verona that last time round was half a second slower. It seems to be sticking with Vercelli here. So probably an off lap for him. You can see that the Lamborghini of Vercelli just seems to get a better exit out of the bus stop chicane. Looks like the gap is closing down as they get onto the Camel Straight. It's not going to be enough though for Verona. But that last time around, 2:17.4 for Verona. So in fact, roles are reversed. It's now Verona who's 4/10 quicker than Vercelli. So these two seem to be making quite a few mistakes. First it was Verona, now it's Vercelli. But it looks like we've got a change in position. That's Bykov now ahead of Faulkner. He's got the move done. Faulkner's lost a couple positions. First it was to Warner, now it's to Bykov, so they are dropping down the order like a fly here. And that last lap from Faulkner, 2:18 flat, he seemed to be lacking some pace in his second stint. I wonder if it's to do with the heavy fuel loads. Maybe they've overfueled. And of course, it's not the easiest thing to calculate fuel loads in a driver swap situation. Especially with a new format that a few of these drivers won't be used to. But back down to P12, more on the back of Korolski with Santoro just behind. And it's pretty much a symphony with all the Lamborghinis. You just hear the engines all roaring together. And, well, I mean, most of the grid is Lamborghinis, so I'm not sure if you guys are sick of the noise. But it's a brilliant sound and contact between the two. You can't go side by side through there, and that's Moron into the barriers. Luckily, it wasn't a big shunt, but he's going to have to get the car facing the right way around. That was such a risky move to go for side by side through the fast left-hander. And oh, he's struggling to get it going there. Traction control not kicking in on the grass. But there we go. He's lost so many positions. That's about 3-4 positions that Moran has lost. He's going to be able to hang on to P18 though, with D'Angelo just behind. That's some damage there caused to that McLaren. It looks like Den, I believe, in the pits. I'm not sure if he's pitted again or he's stayed in the pits. But Astro, we got, content now saying, evening all, sorry I'm late. Yeah, no worries. Astro Racing Team saying, what a race so far. It has been a great race. We've got, in fact, for you guys, we've got Tom Curtin now in the car with Monroe just up ahead. Mercedes versus Mercedes. The only two Mercedes in this championship, I believe, both on track together. But this is a good battle we've got going on. In fact, we've still got Santoro and Korolski, P11, P12, Bykov, Faulkner and Fiddlerbus, P8, 9 and 10 as well. Quite a few more battles. There we go. Then back out on circuit, which is good to see. Let's have a look at the top two once again. It is about 3 seconds here. Walsingham has pulled away once again. A 2:16.8 that last time around, but what is it going to be this time as he crosses the line? 2:16.5 for Honzik. It's a 2:16.8, still 0.3 a lap slower. So they are losing time here to Veloce Yassid. You never know, towards the end of the stint, Veloce's tyres might not be as good as Yassid's. And maybe Honzik not pushing to the maximum. I assume he is driving in maybe in a more conserved way. Try and look after those tyres. As you can see how smooth he is through these corners here. I'm sure that's going to be helping the tyres here, maybe to go for an all-out push in the last 10-15 minutes, which could help him massively here. But we got the position change here. Oh, there's been contact. Korolski facing the wrong way on the exit of La Source. There's definitely been contact there. Vining, Salem are all going to get past. Ventura and Fiddlerbus were in that battle, but actually no, I think it was Faulkner, Fiddlerbus and Korolski, so it's dropped down to P14 now. What a shame there, but now it's Faulkner and Fiddlerbus. Faulkner's been dropping right down the order here after the driver swap. Aiden P1, Aiden Walsingham absolutely flying at the moment. 2:16.5, fastest lap of the race in the second stint. Of course, Malinowski in the first stint, I believe, set the fastest lap of the race at 2:16.4. Yep, it was a 2:16.4. And let's quickly have a look at those Mercedes at the back, or towards the back of the field. Where are they? Oh, they are side by side, almost side by side here, coming down the Kemmel Straight. And looks like Monroe's got the inside, Curtin on the outside. Is he going to be brave enough to be later on the brakes and try and hang it around the outside? No, he backs out of that. He knows he's got more time to get this move done. And, well, they've got the next car 19 seconds up the road, so they're not going to be thinking about that. The battle's on themselves and themselves only. Let's see, on board with Curtin now. A quick temperature update. I've got the lights off as well. It's 32.3 degrees, so it's gone up again. Why has it gone up again? Okay, well. I could do with an ice cream right now. Or to actually sit in the freezer, that would be nice. But Curtin's still on the back of Monroe. It's Astro Racing Team versus United Sim Team. Drivers taking varying racing lines there. You can see Curtin's got the slipstream Is it going to be enough? He's going to have to follow exactly in the line of the Mercedes ahead, both in the same car. It's down to setup, down to who's got the better exit out of Stavolo up towards the braking zone. Looks like, did Curtin overshoot? No, he didn't. Looks like Monroe overshot actually into the corner, but no, he's been able to get a good exit. And Curtin not able to close the gap just yet, but he's still there within a second to Monroe to quickly come back to this battle. Back to the race leader, still 3.3 seconds ahead. Actually, it looks to be a bit more. 3.3, 3.5 seconds to Honzik in P2. This time around it is a 2:17.0. What is it going to be for Honzik? 2:17.1. So still lapping ever so slightly slower than the race leader. And we go down to P10 now. Billabus and Faulkner still battling for position. We've got Assetto Racing Team saying, "Let's go, Tom. He is going to get him." So some support from his team there in the comments. The Fiddlebus tried for a move there into the bus stop chicane, didn't work out well for him. He's going to stay where he is in P10. Maybe a bit of a lock up there into turn one. And it looks like Faulkner maybe with a, oh, that's not the best camera angle. Faulkner maybe with a bit of a later apex, but he's really struggled there through Rouge and Radio. And look at the closing speed now from Fiddlebus here. He's got the slipstream as well, and he's going to try and slingshot past, but Faulkner staying on the racing line. He wants to outside line, yeah, into Lacombe, and he looks like he's going to have it. And oh, massive lock up there, and onto the curb as well. And Fiddlebus had to slam on the anchors to avoid making contact. And that's not going to help his tyres one bit. So stays P10, and look who's behind them. Santoro and Salem as well, right behind. They seem to be reeling in P10 and P9, but we'll come back to them in just a moment. We'll have a quick look at Polovchuk in P15, who's about a second off of Karolski, but not close enough to make a move yet there. Pitbull Racing, they had Vozdetsky in the car beforehand, but back down to P25, 0.2 of a second separating these two, and Curtin's got the move done into turn one, but Monroe looking for a switchback there, side by side still, going up towards Eau Rouge now. Look at this, someone's going to have to back out. Looks like Curtin is going to have the inside, but he's slightly behind. Is he going to try and hold it around the outside? Look at that washing wide, certainly having to cut the top of Radion, and they are still side by side. No, not really any advantage there gained by Curtin. If anything, he's lost out slightly, but he's in the slipstream now. Can he try and get back past here into the braking zone? He's going to look for a move down the inside. He thinks about it, but backs off there. And Monroe gets back up ahead. Brilliant driving between these two. It's exactly what we want to see. And look who's behind them now. Aposto in the car now for West Competition Racing. It was Fisher in first. Now it's Aposto, and it is just a recovery drive from these two in West Competition Racing. And I believe this will probably be one of their drop rounds, or their only drop round, unless they miss a round, of course. But Aposto well out of position. We know they qualified the car quite high up the order amongst the McLarens, actually. So they had what it takes to be up there. And now look at this, we've got Curtin and Monroe side by side once again. Is Aposto going to look for a move yet, or is he going to be patient? He's going to be very patient here. He knows he can get past, and he's going to try and slingshot past, but has to slam on the anchors there as well to avoid any collisions. But look at this, he's going to have a better exit nevertheless. And he's sort of side drafting here with Monroe, looking for a move down the inside here of Curtin. He's going to get it done. Curtin having to take to the runoff to avoid any contact there, but that's all good from our side, and Apostle they're up into P24 now. I think Curtin and Monroe not too fussed about that. They're focused on their own battle for now. Look who else they've got closing up on them. They've got Seiko, P27, catching up to them. Only 2 seconds, well, 3 seconds behind. That could be another one to watch out for. Seiko, that last time, the 220.6. For Curtin and Monroe's are 224 and 225. That's how much time they're losing just by battling here. It looks like Curtin's now pulling away from Monroe slightly, so we go back to the top two. Looks like Walsingham is continuing to pull away. Michael's saying my comms is next level. You know what else is next level? Next Level Racing. Be sure to check out our sponsors. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, Walsingham is pulling away. He's absolutely on fire now. 217s, 216s from this man. And he's been unstoppable. Shameless, yeah, it was shameless. On tick here, just behind. 3.5 seconds. Now the gap between these two beforehand, before they did their driver swaps, was about 2 to 2.3 seconds. But of course, when you're in a team, you can't all do it yourself. There are drivers within a team with varying pace, varying driving styles and whatnot, so you have to come to a compromise as well when it comes to the setup on the car, because you can only share one setup between two drivers, so there is sort of a compromise there too. You can't exactly have the car how you'd like it. You have to think about your teammate as well. But before we get onto anything else, we've got once again this 4-car battle. Little Boss, Faulkner, Santoro and Salem all batting for position. Looks like Morant has just got past Victor. Those now in the car for they're not Ballas Esports anymore, they are Brabham Esports now, but currently in P18. Where were they? P23 they started, so they've gone positive since the start. Back up to P12. Let's go on board here with the McLaren of Salem. We've got a brilliant view of this battle just up ahead. Look how wide the two cars in front are running. That's very risky there. Easy to pick up a chaplain warning on the exit. Luckily, I don't think there's been a team that has had a drive-through penalty. Look at this side by side here between Santoro and Faulkner. Faulkner on the inside. Santoro tried to get his nose down the inside there for the second part of the bus stop chicane. Bit of contact between the two. I think it's just hard racing there. Santoro did have his nose down the inside, but Faulkner going for an immediate reply back, coming down into turn one. He's got to be later on the brakes here, and he is, and looks like he may have this move back. No, they're still side by side. Now we saw this between Curtin and Monroe. Is it going to end the same for these two as well? Let's have a look. It's like Faulkner, no, it's ended differently, and all of them pretty much cutting the top of Radion. That was a bit cheeky there from Santoro. That could be going down to the stewards there. Did cut the top of Radion quite a lot, and did actually gain an advantage by doing so. Look at the amount of time he's gained from that. I think that may be down to the stewards there, but Faulkner has now been passed by Salem as well. So Faulkner dropping down to P12. They started P15, however, so still they have gained positions. Against the start. Back to our race leader we go. Walsingham navigating through some traffic now. That's actually Curtin just up in front, and Monroe just behind, who he's got past. But will this possibly bring Curtin and Monroe closer together once again? I'm not sure. Looks like Honzik there on the back of one of the Lamborghinis, gets past without any issues. So they head down towards turn 1 of the source once again. They are 3.6 seconds behind though. I think their main hopes now is for Veloce to make a mistake. I really don't think, with the way they've been driving, with how focused they are, that mistakes are in even anywhere near what they're thinking about. But there we go, Curti moving off the racing line to allow Walsingham through, and actually not losing any time whatsoever. Still keeping ahead of Monroe. Yeah, the main thing that Honzik and Yassi have to hope for, I think, is traffic. Getting stuck in traffic, and that they can't navigate through the traffic as easily as Yassi can. But again, dealing with traffic on Spa is so much easier than your narrow tracks like Brands Hatch last round, where it was so narrow. And looks like we've got Faulkner in the pits now. What has happened there? Any damage on the car? Looks like there is, maybe not. Possibly a drive-through penalty. I was speaking about drive-throughs earlier. Or could it be fuel? Jan saying, shame we can't attend, driving a 10-hour race now. Yeah, good luck with that. Hope that's going well. Giacomo saying P4 was 7 seconds behind now, 2.5. Can you have a look? Yes, we can. P7 Warner. Was it Warner you're talking about? Warner's currently 4 seconds behind Verona, but actually Verona and Vercelli have been battling ever since the second stint. They've been so close together. P4 Philippi, yes, he is 2.3 off of Nick Muller, who's now in the car for Unicorns of Love, UOL. We'll take a look at them in just a moment. But Verona still on the back of Vercelli, maybe waiting until the last few laps to finally go for a move. He is actually quicker, and he was that last time around, so just being patient. There's still time to get this move done. Look how close he is through the bus stop there. Slightly varying lines between the two. I think maybe a slightly better line there from Vercelli, or Vercelli. But we'll go, I think it's Vercelli. That sounds more Italian. But yeah, let's go to Filippi, who is 2 seconds now to Nick Muller. He actually catching up. That last time around was 4 tenths quicker. He's definitely closing in. If he can keep that up, 4 tenths a lap quicker is insane pace. And in fact, he's lapping faster than the race leader is Filippi. So that is some serious pace at this point in the race. And this is definitely a podium on the cards for them. Nick Muller and UOL are going to have to do some defending very shortly, or they're going to have to try and find some more pace. Where from, I don't know, but they're going to have to pull some more pace out of the bag from somewhere. And back down to P11 we go. Salem on the back of Santoro. He's got the slipstream. Bit of weaving going on there to try and break that slipstream, but it's not really going to be too effective here. 3 tenths separating these two now. With, that's not Vining just behind. That is a back marker. Vining is about 4 seconds behind these two. You can see him there just in the background. Got a glimpse of that red RKM Lamborghini. We're back next week, yeah, back I think for your favourite track, Bathurst. I believe it's Mount Panorama Bathurst. Yeah, it is. So, great race to return at. That's going to be a very, very tricky one. We know how Bathurst takes no prisoners, but we'll talk about that next round. And now we're focused on the battle here between Vercelli and Verona, P5 and 6. still about 0.4 of a second separating each other. And once again, Verona was faster that lap as well. So he is just playing the patient game, but this could be his opportunity down in towards turn 1. He is close enough. He just needs to commit and send it down the inside, but he's got to do it cleanly. But no, that looks like Bocelli going defensive, keeping the car in the middle of the track now, back over to the racing line, and Verona's not going to go for the move. But if he stays this close, gets a good run through Eau Rouge and down the Kemmel Straight, he's going to have a very good opportunity to be alongside into Lecomte. And let's see what he can do. We know the McLaren is so quick through here. TC's probably going to be off going through. Oh my goodness, almost into the barriers there. And surely if he gets past, this could be gaining a position, gaining an advantage and position here. It looks like he's not going to. He's going to hold back. So sportsmanlike there from Verona, but that was a massive mistake. That could have been race ending right there. I'm sure his life would have flashed before his eyes. And Barry was just inches away from their car. And it looks like Salem P11, that Delta is so close. They are side by side here. And Santoro's going to have to give him the room. Almost a bit of contact between the two. Now there is. And they've both run slightly wide. I think that may have still been within track limits. No, it was for Salem, not for Santoro. Luckily, no position lost there for Santoro after that bit of contact. Back to P5 and 6, still neck and neck here. What is going on further down the field? Rua is... what's happened there? They haven't served their... They were running really well, were virtual drivers. But they're now dead last. And I believe... I'm not sure if that's correct, that their pit stop hasn't been served correctly. But I guess we'll find out at the end of the race. Anything else going on at the back of the field? There's not too much. Monroe's a second off of Seiko. Curtis now pulled a 5-second gap. 6-second gap to Monroe. But we go back to the race leader. Walsingham 3.3 seconds to Honzik. Now they've been lapping fairly similar times. 2:17.2s and 2:17.3s. Klinkmuller is now almost within the reach of Philippi here. Just separated by over a second. It's going to come down to the final few laps between these two, 100%. And back to P5 and 6 for the time being. Looks like they're even closer. And once again, cutting the top of Radion and nearly losing the car there for Verona. In fact, he's lost a bit of time down the Kemmel Straight, back to 4/10. They've got to be very careful here that they're not picking up any track limit warnings. Otherwise, it could be a drive-through. And just to confirm, was it a drive-through for Faulkner? Yes, it was a drive-through penalty, and they're now down in P22. It looks like Salem's got past Santoro, so he's got the move done. No, not yet. They're still side by side, but Santoro very wide there, and Salem's got the move done after countless tries. He's made it stick, and up into P10 he goes. These two still very close. Back to Philippi and Klinkmuller. Looks like they've got some traffic now in front of him. That's Monroe just up in front, but that's going to help Klinkmuller actually using the slipstream. Not if they go side by side through here. Turn 18, I believe it is. Yeah, turn 18. Towards the bus stop chicane now. The gap is under a second between P3 and 4. It's the battle for the final podium spot. Who is going to take it? We've got 6 minutes left on the clock. That's 2 or 3 laps here. Maybe even 4. I don't know where the leaders are at the moment. Yeah, I'm not going to do the maths. My brain isn't working. I've already been cooked for about 2 hours, so... By that I mean the temperature's still 32.3 degrees in here. What's the temperature outside, actually? Just having a quick look. it's 26 degrees outside and it's warmer in here. Okay. But Filippi right on the back now of Big Muller. Looks like they got a car in between them. Bit of oversteer there from Filippi. But that Lamborghini's surely going to have to get out of the way soon. It's going to have to be now here. This is an important battle and still not moving out the way just yet. And looks like he is going to now. They don't want to be battling. There we go. So not really any time lost. Or actually, maybe a little bit of time lost there for Filippi. But still, looks like... Oh, actually, Verona's got past. Oh, Vercelli's facing the wrong way into Lecom. Could that have been late braking? I would have brought the replays up, but we don't have our secondary screen here. And it looks like it's actually an accident. Looked like there was a collision. That's what's pinging up on our information here. There was a collision between Vercelli and Verona. But that's such a shame, and that looks like that damage. Yeah, there's heavy damage on the rear of the car. You can see, is that rear wing slightly bent? I think it might be. It's not going to be helping through the corners. Yeah, it is. Look at that. Definitely. Surely it is, right? Yeah, it is. There is some heavy damage on the rear of that Lamborghini, and they're being caught now by Bykov in P8. So this could be down to the stewards here. Yeah, back to Filippi and Big Muller. Very, very close between these two. Let's compare their sector times, actually, just to see where each driver is quicker or slower. So, oh, actually, it looks to be every sector. That second sector time is obviously incorrect. I'm not sure what's happened there. Yeah, why on earth is sector 2 under a second? Okay, that's completely wrong. At least we can judge Sector 1 and Sector 3. The Sector 1, Klinkmuller is about 3/10 of a second slower. Actually, it is almost 3/10 of a second slower there. Sector 3 is quite close. It's about 600-700ths of a second between those two. And, well, Sector 2, we have no idea at the moment. That is a mystery. But Sector 1 seems to be where Unicorns of Love are losing the most time to Ballas Esports here. And if we compare the top two, let's do that very quickly. Oh, wrong one. Apologies for that. We won't bring up the standings now because it is obvious from last round. You can also check the standings on SimGrid if you wish to view them. But Sector 1, yeah, I'm wondering why there's an error in Sector 2. So we'll ignore that for now. We'll just compare Sector 1 and 3. But Sector 1 seems to be quite even between the two, and Sector 3 seems to be quite even between the two. So I think Sector 2 is where Walsingham is actually getting the most time on Honzik here. And it's unfortunate we can't actually see the sector times just yet. But we'll have a look. Looks like Vercelli and Filibus P8 and 9. So Vercelli's already lost the position to Bykov. That damage is not helping him whatsoever, but he's going to have to try and take it to the line and just bring the car back in one piece, even if it means he loses a few positions. And back to P3 and P4, they are so close now. It's neck and neck between these two. Let's go on board with the McLaren driver, Filippi. He's got the slipstream. Look at the run he's got out of Radion Rouge. And look at this. He's catching up so fast. You think he's going to get ahead even before the braking zone. But it looks like they've got a car ahead. Is that Curtin in the car? And a bit of contact between the two there. And oh, there has been contact. Looks like Klinkmuller was still there. Filippi tried to squeeze him towards the inside and it didn't work out. Klinkmuller was not going to back out of that And I think that should have been expected when you're battling for the podium. But Filippi tried to squeeze him to the inside and it didn't work out for him. And there we have it. Down to, he stays in P4. So I don't think he's going to have a chance to get back at the podium then. Such a shame. But I think that may be down to a racing incident between the two. Obviously, if they do submit anything, it will be down towards the stewards. At Rossingham, this is the last lap, and he's approaching the final corner now. Here we go, heading up towards the bus stop chicane after a very long race. Exiting the final corner. Here we go, P1 for Walsingham and Malinowski and Veloce. Brilliant driving from them. Honzik finishing in P2 for Yassitz. Klinkmuller is going to hold on to P3, the final podium's position here as he approaches the bus stop chicane. Brilliant driving there. A bit of a shame towards the end, but it happens in racing when tensions get high and drivers get a bit too impatient. There we go, Klinkmuller for Unicorns of Love finishing in P3. Filippi is going to finish in P4. Still, nevertheless, a very good result. Started P4, finished P4. Verona is going to finish in P5, but of course, it was a bit of a collision. So P5 on track for them. They started P10. And there we go, crossing the line in P5. Good driving there from them. We've still got the drivers doing their cool down lap, of course. So lovely to see. Ikov's going to cross the line. Warner in P6, sorry. Bykov in P7. Flip the bus in P8. Salem is just going to hold on to P9 there with Santoro just behind in P10. Now that's your top 10 here for this race. We've got the rest of the field crossing the line. We will be back for some interviews after this. So make sure to stick around. We won't be long. It'll be about a couple minutes maximum, or 5 minutes maximum. So make sure to stay tuned for some interviews with some of the teams. Okay, ladies and gents, we're going to see if we can get some interviews now with some of the teams. So we should have Veloce in first. Here we go. We've got them in now. Brilliant racing from the both of you. It was tough at the start with Yassi very, very close. You did tell us last round that they'd probably be your main competitors. Yeah, they are also in the McLaren as well. But you guys just did really, really well. Just had the slight edge as well over them, especially in the second stint. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, really good. Yas is a sister team to us. We were all together on the voice chat, me, Aiden, Valen, and Jarier. So
yeah,
we knew that after quali, we just need to bring 2 cars home because, like I said last time, this whole championship for us, the main goal is just to score well at the end, be in the top 3, and get to the SimGrid World Cup. So, just nice fun racing between us two. I was just trying to see if I can run away from Valentin. Same for the second stint. But, we were trying to push a little bit, obviously, see if who's going to be faster in the end. But without doing any crazy stuff, risking track limit drivers or anything like that. Just really nice and fun afternoon. Making sure that we score maximum points that we can.
Yeah, I mean, it was a faultless performance from you guys. Now moving on to next round, Bathurst. What's your plan going into that? Because it's a very, very difficult track, and of course, no room for error as well.
Well, my plan is to have George in the car, and that should do the trick. That's my plan. Well, McLaren is really fast there. We have another track where we can use the low aero setting characteristic of the McLaren. Just trim down the wing to the minimum and just zoom on the straights with low drag. And McLaren is really good there with that. I actually don't know what Lambo is even capable of there. But McLaren is still one of the fastest cars there alongside Audi and other... I don't know what else is there. As fast as Audi and McLaren. But it's another track where we're going to be strong. So, just keep it off the walls, and another kind of race where we know we have the pace. So let's just get the points that we know we should get without any big risks. Because our car is just its pace is gonna enable us to just take it easier, so it should be fun.
Yeah, let's just bring home the points and hopefully both teams in the podium. And of course, like you mentioned before, the last 2 rounds is where the McLaren might not be as strong, so you want to maximize your points.
Yeah, definitely. This is the time to maximize the points. Then Suzuka is gonna be a bit more tough for us because Lambo there is absolutely ridiculous. But if we will have those 3 rounds in the row where we can score well, then we just need to make sure we get a decent round at Suzuka. And then I think for me and George, the plan is that we actually, when the last round is, we're having a LAN event for SRO at Barcelona, and we're not even gonna be there to do the last round. So I don't know if maybe someone will be there for us, or just gonna end up being a drop round for us. I don't know. Aiden seemed to enjoy this race today, so who knows? But we'll see at the end of the month.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, congratulations on the result for the both of you, and we will see you next round.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
See you next week.
Yep. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. So there we have it. That was Veloce for you. You've got Nicholas Huben for Unicorns of Love. We'll bring him in. A good result for you. P3. Of course, the McLaren's absolutely rapid at Spa. It was very close towards the end though, going into Le Com, the braking zone for at the end of the Camel Straight. It was very, very close, and it could have ended quite badly for you guys, but luckily you came out ahead and held on to the podium.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race. Actually tried to maximize our stints, played a clever game, being in the slipstream all the time, and yeah, after the technical issues of the car ahead, luckily in P3 somehow, with no real chance to go ahead, but with a lot of chances to go in the 4th place, and yeah, in the last lap, let's say it was an interesting move. From our perspective, it was heavily moving under braking, but yeah, we will see that in the future.
Yeah, it was. I think it was down to a racing incident. I think they tried to squeeze you on the inside, but it is what it is. Next round, we've got Bathurst. How do you think the Lamborghini is going to hold up against the McLarens there?
At least better than in Spa. I think they will be pretty equal. Maybe a little bit better for the McLaren, maybe a little bit better for the Lambo, I don't know. But yeah, it should be more like a fair fight next time.
Yeah, so hopefully we can see you battling with the top 2 next round then. And yeah, it's still a good result, still a podium, and we've still got quite a few rounds to go, so only onwards and upwards for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's the maximum we could achieve. Honestly, probably even more than we could achieve. Yeah, I'm happy.
That's good to hear. So congrats anyways on the podium, and we will see you for next round at Bathurst.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, take care. There we have it, ladies and gents. Doesn't look like we're going to get any more interviews, but thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you next week at Bathurst.